Well, welcome back, everybody, to Chop It Up with Tony. Another episode is going to be in the books at the moment now. I got a special guest indeed, Miss Chloe. Say what's up to people.
Hey everyone, this is Chloe.
Well, welcome, babe. Yes, right. She is my wife. Having her on the show because I had the siblings on last episode. If you guys didn't catch on, but now I have the wife. Now I gotta kind of continue on with the story we were kind of conversating with last episode. So, were you able to watch it a little bit by any chance?
I sure did. I watched the whole thing.
The uncut version.
The uncut version.
See the uncut version. Yeah, that was fun. It was good. It was a good time. You know, this new podcast we're setting up, it's going to be some fun, good conversations and stuff like that. You know, telling stories if you can, but mainly just enjoying ourselves, right?
Yep.
It's going to be some hard questions, I'll be honest. So, you know, if it makes you feel a little, you know.
I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll let you know.
Well, tell the people where you from, babe. Where you from, who you are, what you be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I'm not really gonna let's not go because I am a gamer and I'm not big, but
right.
I am a gamer and I do post on TikTok. So I'd rather not say where exactly we're from.
Oh, see, with no details, of course, but basics. You know, are you you black or you white? You know, what's your rationality?
I'm mestizo, and I'm Mexican American. Because now you have to be specific, bro.
Nowadays.
You can't just people be like, oh no, Mexican isn't a race, which I understand, but now you have to be very specific. So I'm mestizo. What else? I'm 34.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids. Obviously, we're married.
That's right.
Married since 2011.
Oh my God.
We've been dating since 2004.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, you're of age, of course.
I'm 34.
Yeah. I know, right? That's nice.
I'm from 91.
How does it feel to be in the 30s?
It actually does. It feels. You know what?
Was it what you dreamed of? Probably not.
Okay, that's a little deep because obviously we'll get into that. That's a deep question for me.
Oh.
Because of what I've been through. It's not that it's not where obviously yes, this is what I dreamed of. It's just not exactly how I planned it to be.
Yeah.
Not exact, but it is what I dreamed of. I mean, we are married. We do have our 4 kids. Obviously, professionally wise, it's not where I plan to be at this time. But
right.
But it's never too late, and that's what we're in the works. That's in the works. So.
Goal setting, right? I guess this will be a good advice right now at this point. Let's kind of input that right now. Like, let's not stop. You know, we got challenges, of course, but we don't want to stop and halt and, not lose the drive. I think between you and I, for us being together for so long, we've been able to push each other. It'll last and stuff and be there, support each other through the challenges that we go through. Mm-hmm. And it betters. And I think it's creating something that we always wished, creating something in front of our children's eyes and showing them that never give up. Don't pause. You're going to go through some hurdles, of course, but, you find the right companion, you communicate properly, and things kind of, work themselves out as this. But as long as you stay committed to the actual end goal. Because we had our goals. I mean, we had our certain goals and stuff like that set up, and they didn't pan out. Obviously, didn't come out to be, but that just kind of tells us that hey, Audible, just change it up. We'll make a new one. We'll get something else done. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Now, being a mother of 4, I guess that would be my first start off with my first question with you. Then I guess some nice. What would be the us being the parents of 4, but you specifically a mother of 4. You've seen social media, you've seen other stories and stuff like that. What's been your biggest challenge as a mother of 4?
Time.
Oh, good. Elaborate there. Time. Yeah.
It just always feels like there's never enough time. That's just really what it is. It feels like you just never have enough time to get it all done, and so you always feel like you're behind. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard. It always feels like it's kind of like like I guess the easiest way for people that don't have kids, or maybe they only have one, which still I'm not taking away, because one is one. Like, that's still, that's a lot of responsibility. Um, but what I guess best way to put it is when you fall behind in several classes in school,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like several, so it's not just one class; it's several classes, and now it's hard to catch up because now you got to do extra work,
Right.
and now it's like you got the extra homework, but then you still got to do your work.
Facts.
And so it's hard it's like, oh my gosh, it's not impossible. You still could get it done.
Right.
And you
But
always got it done. It's just when we, I, that's an example that I could give because it happened to me.
yeah.
but yeah, so it's just, it feels like that sometimes, like, oh my gosh, I can't catch up. I can't catch a break, I guess, in a sense. But no, it's still, it's a beautiful thing. Like,
Right.
we were just at Six Flags yesterday with the kids for Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was a blast. It was just literally nonstop laughing,
Oh my God.
nonstop cracking jokes, so definitely, like, that pays off for a lot of, like, the stressful moments.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the other thing would, to kind of piggyback off of that, is the fact that, yeah, we always had that little notion, when we're going through the process of having the kids at one point, where it's like, okay, well, this year we're gonna get their season passes, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna do this, and it never happened for whatever case, right?
Yeah, well, they were younger too, and
Little.
that's why we were hesitant.
Right. I think
'Cause
walking
it's
around with the
hard.
strollers and taking that plus food.
No, it's not hard. It's just dangerous. It was just dangerous for us.
Subconsciously, I think we were more focused on the fact that, first off, it takes a second for something to occur. But I think, for us to get our kids at the right age to be emotionally, aware of their surroundings and stuff like that, to be the point of like, all right, this is our time. Yeah. They're mature enough. They're mature at the right age. And I think that was the same thing us telling the kids before we get even in a theme park, is saying, hey, look out for each other, pair up, someone you feel, you notice someone missing, you make sure they're paired up with somebody. What's our last names? Who do you need to find in case you feel like you're lost?
Or phone numbers.
All that good stuff. You got your watches, your iPhone watches, like, hence, that's what we got them. So it's, that, right. That it felt like it took for a while.
Okay, let me just, because people that are Apple users, they're going to be like, what did he just say? Not iPhone watches, sir. It's Apple Watch. iPhone is iPhone, and then watch is a watch. So
look, we're on the
Apple
show.
Watch.
You don't have to correct me right now, because I don't. Babe,
no, but
well,
people who use Apple, they're gonna be like, did he?
Yes, I did. You want to know why? Because I'm an old.
He will not.
I am an old head. I'm a '90s
from Android
baby.
To Apple.
No, never. Not. I'm sticking with Android. I'm staying with it. I'm not going with that Apple stuff, iPhone stuff. Okay. No, sorry. I apologize, but I will not. Mm-hmm. I'll play with the iPad here and there, okay? Because we got one, and it's, I'll play with that, but as far as I go, okay? But I mean, having that experience the other day at the theme park, family wise, taking the pictures, going on the rides. I'm not gonna lie, my calves is hurting. My calves is hurting. My freaking shin bones, my shin muscles tight and sore. And I haven't walked like that in a long time with you guys. Mm-hmm. It's like we used to do that when we go to the freaking mall and just enjoy ourselves and stuff. But to do that, man, it was, I ain't gonna lie, it was painful, but it was just fun watching the kids just enjoying themselves. Yeah, I think that was the fun part of just.
It was painful. It was not painful. I said painful. Painful. No, but it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Mm-hmm. Definitely worth it.
The fact that we went on nothing but roller coasters or nothing but rides, in a sense.
Yeah.
Around the theme park, like I said, we literally barely made it out of the right entrance, in a sense, and we didn't even go halfway through. We got it to the southwest area, and we still had the whole other section to go on rides with. Mm-hmm. Man, feels hurting people.
We have so much
to experience together, and I think that was the fun part, and I think that would be a good advice for you guys. You guys got those who have families like that. It's just enjoy it, take your time with it, have some fun.
Every let me see. Not just children, but like every life has phases.
Right.
So children have phases. So you'll get through phases. You'll go through there will be hardships. There will be, but you will have fun. You will have a lot of, once they're a certain age, you can start doing certain things. You can start having more fun with them.
Right.
You know, always stay vigilant though.
Facts. It's the
We live
experiences.
in a crazy world.
Yeah. I take it as experiences. I think my main thing would be is just enjoy the fact that you're experiencing something like that with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if it's just watching them watch someone go on a ride or whatever, you experience their expressions, their growth from the baby that you just had to a coming in their own adult stage.
Yeah.
Because nowadays I think that was our main thing was our parents would always say life is gonna flash before your eyes. Once you get that certain age, it's gonna seem faster and faster and faster. Hence why like you said, time. It seems like things are going quickly, but our mental state is feeling like it's
like, whoa, it's going too fast.
Right.
Take a minute.
Take a minute to enjoy. Take a minute to enjoy. Enjoy the smile. Enjoy the laugh. Enjoy, even if it's if they're mad or whatever case it be. You're not gonna see that very often. So, just enjoy it. Enjoy. Have a good time. It was fun. But yeah, that's good. Biggest challenge for family of 4, and I think when we see parents who are struggling with just 2 or 1, it's like I don't know if it's just you. Maybe it's just me. For me, it's like, bruh, I can do that. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy. You struggling with a diaper? Come on, handle the baby. I got that. Like, I feel like that's what it is. Like, let's be honest. Like we were talking about last episode, Miss Ivory having being a newborn and stuff. Like, for us to babysit, it's a breeze in a sense. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a big hassle. Like,
yeah,
I think we've kind of experienced it. Like, all right, you're crying. One of a couple of things: tummy ache. I mean, we got gas. You need a diaper change.
Right.
You hungry.
Or you sleepy.
Or you're sleepy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's sleepy, bruh, that out within minutes. Not even takes time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. But that doesn't discount those, struggling parents, of course, those newborn parents and stuff.
Yeah,
We did. We did for a fact. Like, you know how much I struggled with our oldest one was like she was very colicky, and I couldn't even, like it was just hard for us to put that one to bed, like nonstop, just rocking, move, up and moving and stuff. Oh my God, drive me nuts. I think that's where I got my gray hair. Will start growing. I think.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was tough.
Yeah.
Very colicky.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that would be a good thing. I think our biggest challenge also too has been, if you're okay with talking about, but obviously you struggle with Sjogren's. Say it again.
Sjogren's.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a name butcher.
It's Sjogren's syndrome.
Yeah. For our illness, I think that we go through with that. Has it been a big challenge, of course?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the combo of everything, like the combo of the Sjogren's, the severe fibromyalgia, the rheumatoid arthritis, and like the stomach issues that have come along with that.
We had to change up the diet.
The seizures that have come along with that.
Mm.
But it's mainly like all of it put together. It's mainly just a lot of muscle pain, joint pain, bone, joint, muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also affects your nervous system, and it affects all your internal organs. But the thing is, obviously, if you don't take medication for it, it advances. So
Thanks.
For me, I'm on medication, so it's not advancing. It's just now it's keeping it under control.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's been really hard with me as far as being a mom, especially a mom of 4.
Yeah.
Because you know, I hear a lot like, well, you could just push yourself a little harder, or yes, you can do it. Of course, I know I can do it, but I have to also listen to my body. Like I can do it, but by the end of the night, I'm gonna be like
Drained.
barely be like able to walk. And so there's certain things where um I can only do so much with my body. And so yeah, I mean I've had to learn to listen to my body. So that's what's been frustrating, just not frustrating, the sad part about
Yeah.
being ill and then being a mom, not being able to do everything you want to do with your kids.
Yeah. What would
But
okay.
oh,
No,
no, no.
go.
Oh,
Continue.
no, I was just gonna say, God has been great though. I will say this, that um, you know, uh, it might not show in my lab work that I'm getting better. It might look like I'm still the same because it looks like everything's still the same.
Mm.
But God has given me the strength because since we've gotten closer to Him,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like for example, Six Flags, I was able to hang on the entire time we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was complaining at the end, like, oh my God, I can't walk, my feet
You weren't the
hurt.
only one. Let's
But
be honest.
everybody, so
Exactly.
but you know what I mean. Like I was able to enjoy myself the entire time with the kids, and so I will say that like it's. I don't mean to sound like it's. I'm not complaining because whatever I've been through has made me who I am today and has made me stronger.
Thanks.
But it is tough though. It is tough.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a good, experience to seeing your growth in, I would say, because I mean, finding out with your illness, it wasn't, let's just be honest, it wasn't just, like you said, it wasn't just Sjogren's.
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 Grin.
Like say a show, like a
Show.
show. Sjogren's.
Sjogren's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
It wasn't, as far as finding out that, if let's be honest, I think that was the last thing we found out, that was actually what you had, because
Yeah.
in the beginning we were kind of to the unknown of what was going on. Like you were really
Well,
having the seizures, you were having the arthritis, you were having the back pain, the
the
migraines,
fibromyalgia.
and the
Oh, and
fibromyalgia. Like,
I also have the migraines, which I get
right,
treatment for.
right, you were having the seizures on top of that too.
Hmm.
Like all of that was happening, and we were like, what is this, what is that? Like everything was kind of pile on at first. And let's be honest, that whole testing period was a big frustration, a big, a freaking Demi Downer during that time frame. It was draining us mentally and physically.
Hmm.
Trying to figure out what was going on, to say what can be our plan. Like we had these little plans set in place, but something would come up and it kind of just shot us down a little bit. And then once we actually finally got that test and we figured out that was, a big key component to the mixtures of what's been going on, which affects pretty much everything, really, to be honest.
Hmm.
And then we had our game plan, and it's like, okay, little by little, the growth and the management of how we've been able to work around it, it's been a lot better.
Hmm.
And I think specifically for you, you've been able to kind of, you have your spurs and moments, and you're able to, enjoy your day. Other days hey, we're feeling a little tired today, so it's okay to just chill for today.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because we had a big day, like you said, we went a theme park. That was a big day.
Yeah.
Next day, I'm with you. I'm cool to just chill. Let me
Yeah.
lay down, please, because my age ain't like that. Not saying I'm old, but you're right. Listen to my body. My muscles are aching. I need some. I don't need some Bengay, but I need some, some BioFreeze or something like that on some joint, on some joint places and stuff.
Hmm.
But I know I haven't really asked this, but I think it would be a good time if you're okay to share. But
Hmm.
what was the scariest part of finding out about your illness?
That it was gonna be forever. I just remember laying here in bed and when I found out reading it, that was the scariest part. That it would be forever. That there is no cure.
Hmm.
Not like the symptoms and Yeah, it was just that it would be forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing that took me the longest to accept. That, only God has the last word and only He can, like, truly heal me. But at the end of the day, not at the end of the day, but for now, from what I've been told from the doctors, it's just there's no cure.
Yeah.
But only God knows.
No, yeah, I agree.
And so, yeah, but that was the scariest part.
Mm. Yeah. I think I would say finding out about all this, I think was really the scariest thing was just me losing you. Like you said, when you were finding out your illnesses and stuff, I think eventually we kind of figured out that, you know, there will come a time where the body itself shuts down, but we don't know when that time will be.
Yeah.
We don't know how long that's going to last. And I think, I'm not going to lie, I think that was my biggest day. And I think I kind of had left the house for a little bit, went away for a bit, just kind of clear my mind, clear my head. And I know Alex the barber out there, if you're tuning in, but I even posted up over there at the shop, talk, just had to get out of my chest a little bit, cry a little bit, and finding out stuff. But even he said, it's just, look, it's that's why every day's valuable. That's why every day you cherish. That's why every day you guys work at it, and let it be. Time is, like you said, time is on your hand, but it's what you do with that time to make yourself enjoy what you can. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that was good. I think we still to this day, it's like I said, it's not easy every day, but
All right.
it's able to do it. Able to push forward. And that'd be the next question to you, like managing your day to day. I think it's a key thing. What do you feel like has
Um.
been a good key component to you being able to manage your day to day?
Definitely. Being organized with having a calendar. I have two whiteboards. I have like a clean white, like a blank whiteboard, and then a calendar whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
And my phone, obviously, because my phone has all my alarms, and I constantly have alarms going off. Just to push myself and motivate myself, and stay organized and stay on top of things. Which, obviously, it's hard because there's, let's say I have 2, 3 good days, and then I have 1 or 2 bad days, and that puts me back a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I have another 2, 3, 4 good days, and then another 2 bad days again. Things like that, for example, but that's what I've noticed, kind of like a pattern.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be like 2 bad days, but I have like several good days, and so that's the only hard part. But other than that, like I said, what really helps is having just staying on top of a calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and writing everything down. As soon as you think about it, write it down somewhere. Have a notebook ready. Oh, that's something for me.
Yeah.
A notebook.
Right.
Where I can just write everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of just what do you call it? Brain dump, or just
Kind of like brainstorm.
no,
What
dump.
they say. But
When you dump everything.
trash.
No, it's something dump. It's something I don't remember, but it's something dump.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would
When you
say.
like but it's like for journaling when you're.
I gotcha.
I forgot what it's called.
It's a term.
Anyways, yeah, it's a term.
It's a
I don't
term to
remember.
use. Okay.
But
That's good.
yeah, I mean, you can just definitely use a notebook and dump everything on there.
Yeah.
That comes to mind.
Actually, for me, I will use that term like brainstorm. Obviously, you're thinking about what you need to think of. You're brainstorming what your week's going to be like, what you got your schedule's going to come up, and then you just, jot everything down like you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Get everything set up. Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good. Good. Now, particularly onto that, before we move on to the next one, like, I think what would be a good advice you feel, moving forward? Because, like I said in the last episode, would be is the reason to doing shows like this isn't just, for clarity on ourselves too, but it's also mainly in my mind is to leave something for the kids. You know, leave something, to kind of fall back on, because Lord knows if we'll be here, we wake up in the morning, only Lord knows all that stuff. So
Right.
with that being said, I think is leaving something like this for them to tune back into and say, oh, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's their advice and stuff. So advice wise, based on, what we've gone through so far, would be that. Do you have any type of advice about someone, maybe even for the kids or in general, anybody out there dealing with the illness and the struggles and stuff like that?
Okay. Well, this is gonna be a tough one for those who don't believe, and I do apologize, but when I tell you that I stepped away from God for several years and I didn't want to believe anymore, and that didn't work out. This is why I stick by this. So I do apologize for those who don't believe and are listening to this. You can skip this for the next 10 seconds. But for me personally, what I would say to my kids, never stop believing in God and never stop having faith, no matter how hard things get. And never let go of His hand. He's got you. But because life is already hard, and so without God, you best believe it's even harder. And all you do is look to fill that void with anything you can find around you. But only God can truly fill that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say, for real. I mean, you can do anything and everything else, but without God, you feel empty. And I would say never lose faith and never let go of His hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of chimed in a little bit about that in our last episode, talking with Zach and Ivory, was the fact of, hey, I think they even said too during the episode, was they noticed a change in me, being together and stuff. I think that was, the biggest, change in my life. At what it was, whatever it was going to end up being.
Well, the thing with us though, with us, I don't do that. We definitely don't do this. I don't care who you are. I'm not judging you. I don't care. I don't care. I know what I believe in. I know where my faith stands, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna change how I see you or how I treat you.
Yeah.
Because what if God never ever came to earth to be like, oh, you're different, or you are this way, or whatever it is. And He wasn't pointing out people. If anything, He was bringing everybody together to follow Him.
It was a teaching method.
And so, so if He didn't do it, who are we to do it?
Exactly.
So, no. That's one thing we don't do. And, I do, obviously, everybody that knows me knows what I believe in. But also, I'm not, going around shoving it down your throat.
Exactly.
So I have my respect for everybody, and that's why we give respect back, because we respect you.
Agreed. That was the biggest. I think that was the biggest factor in my. I guess it was a big factor in my decision of if I truly want our relationship to grow, and if I really want to commit to this relationship, and that part was because of the fact that it was just what would be, let's put it this way. I think growing up, God was always in our life. I think my grandmother was the big advocate. Yeah, we didn't go to church all the time, of course, and stuff. But, Ash Wednesday, Easter, Good Fridays and stuff like that, doing, every once in a while going to church on a Sunday or something like that. Going to Holy Hill or whatnot and stuff like that was a big thing from my grandmother. So regardless, in my life, I've always had that certain, I pray, I believe type of situation.
Right.
And I think meeting you and having our relationship, your family, of course, was always, into every Sunday, Friday, even for certain community, friendships and stuff like that. What's it called? Carnivals and stuff like that for fundraisers and raising money and stuff like that for the church or whatnot. So,
get a mess.
Yeah. So, in all of that, just knowing that the feel of peace, I think, was always I think that attraction for me was, you guys, it seemed, at peace. It seemed like the teaching you guys were giving was giving peace. And sure enough, going through my path and going through my situation with church and stuff, it turned out to be that. Turned out to find that type of peace I found for myself.
I feel like it shows us, I feel like it shows us that, so life is hard, right? How do I explain it? Hold on. Because yeah.
had it in your head.
I had an example in my head.
Yeah.
But it sounds a little rough. Should I just
Hey, sounds rough. I think me by now. I'm a rough around the edges, but I mean well.
Because me and you, like, it's not even. The thing is that it's not about me and you.
Oh.
But so I'm not gonna mention who, right? But so just looking back at so let's say without God, couples always argue.
Facts.
They always argue. There's always gonna be little arguments. But without God, those arguments intensify. Those arguments are bigger than what they should be, or bigger than what they really are.
Yeah.
With God in your life, you see things clear and with love. And so you're able to, you're able to say, hey, wait a minute. This isn't even worth it. This isn't even worth an argument because, what am I arguing about?
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, I like that.
And it's like, it's when you truly love someone, there's certain things that you just let go. It's like with siblings. There's certain things you let go. You're not going to hold on to that shit and
let it make a driving factor of what I see in you moving forward.
Right. And so I with God, it's easier because obviously it's easier for you to do that with your siblings or your parents because you're blood related.
Right.
But with your significant other, you're not blood related. What brings you together is love.
Right.
So if you have the love of God in between you and with you, it's like I guess you can say it's a everlasting love as long as God is still in you. And
agreed.
And for real, sincerely though, you're not there just bullshitting.
I think that would be a good factor. I agree with. I totally 100% agree on that part. That's always been
right. Because without God, it's just human love, and human love ends up dying because people disappoint you because it's natural. You were humans.
It's infatuation at some points.
We all make mistakes, and so with any little mistake, it turns you it's like, no, I don't want to be with this person, and so it's easier to be like, I'm gonna walk away, I'm leaving, because
makes it easier to turn the page.
I don't want to be here with you. Yeah. But if you have God, God helps you to heal, and obviously there's levels to this, right? Obviously, if the person is cheating on you constantly,
exactly,
that's different. You're not about to stay, or if the person's beating you or putting hands on DV, come on, that's different. You're not gonna stick around for that. But of course, there's I'm talking about the petty stuff that people usually get divorced for, and it's for really?
Bro, I just went to go wash dishes, and I didn't wash them the way you want me to wash them.
Right, there's little arguments.
So you gonna tell me to divorce me because I didn't wash the cup in the order and fashion that you like me to wash the cup? No. So exactly. I agree with you on that. I think we've always seen that eye. When it comes to little petty thing like that, build-ups, that it's petty. Is it a factor in what I see and how our relationship is? Is it a factor of the type of love I share for you or give you or see in you? No. So then it doesn't matter. Now, is this argument that we're having because you're right. Is it something that a thing that you tend to get irritated from me? Okay. Then it's a fair argument. I think that's been the growth in us. Sorry. From the future that we've been having for each other is just those identifying those little things and communicating based on that and saying, all right, we're not each other's favorite person at the moment right now. So let's give each other that room to feel what we're feeling, give each other that space of, expression, give our space of just, we need some space, a tad, But at the end of the day, I want to lay next to you. You're the person I want to tangle my feet with and make sure I feel the warmth and comfort of me, being able to fall asleep too. And then I want to wake up next to you. You're the, I know you get irritated about this, but I smell you. Okay? I can smell your scent.
I don't get irritated.
Well, let's put it this way. It's more or less of like I'm up in her ear, and it's like in her ear where it's like, okay, you can my back,
it's more
my shoulder.
Like, it's just like my ear? Creepy. It's just random as hell. Like out of nowhere. I just feel. And like it feels like,
but it's not just that.
No offense, it's like kind of like when a dog is like sniffing you, even like the way their head moves and everything. Like the God.
Come on, guys, come on. Let's be honest, guys. Guys are out there. Tell me you don't, smell a scent from your woman. You have your woman, you have your partner and stuff like that. Tell me I'm not the only guy out there that just breathes in the air that they're in. Just to kind of their pheromones or that scent. It's just good. It's different. You know what I mean? Come on. I'm not the only one, guys. Tell me, please put some comments on there for me. Let me know.
Yes, please, because let me know if
I don't want to. Because now I feel like I don't want to be the only creep out there doing that to their spouse. if that turns out to be, I'll cut it off from then on.
Stop.
But
you will not.
I know, right? I won't. But based on that, I mean, that's been our path. It's been good. It's been the communication, been growth. But I think also too has been a good attraction. And I'll be honest, I think it's been a key component with you, and I think that's been able to give you your strength with your challenges with our illness, 4 kids, and all that type of stuff. Of coming from a Mexican American type. Well, is it first generation?
First generation.
First generation. Right. And what, especially with things going around right now in our times and stuff like that. It's with that being said, that strength we strive from. We're both, I'm first generation from my dad's side. My mom's side, I'm thinking like 6th, 7th, whatever the case would be. But we find out that that's a big strength component of, giving us the everyday type of situation to come through what we need to. Not saying that others don't have that, but specifically just because of us, what drives us inside. And, with that, I think what I've always found like a love from you, an infatuation from you. And I think what really not mainly, but was a big attraction was a culture I wasn't familiar with growing up. And I think that was a big thing from my end. Because, I knew that from my father's side, and I got experiences from there, but my parents weren't always together all the time. Most of the time my parents were apart, and I wasn't always being able to kind of spend a lot of time with my father and experience with my cousins and stuff like that, except for family occasions, family parties and stuff in little areas. But spending time with you and your family, it's like that was that sense of pride, that sense of like, the love for the culture was there. The flavors of the food was there. You know what I mean?
It's still there.
Yeah, still there. You're correct. It's still there. But with that right there, what gives you that? What gives you that strength, I think?
What do you mean?
Where does it come from, I guess? Like, why do you feel, I guess that would be a good question. Like, why do you feel such pride coming from being a Mexican, being a Mexican American in a sense? Ooh, question stopper.
It's not. Let's see. Well, definitely, yes, it is pride. I'm very proud. You know how I am. I'm very
prideful.
I'm very proud of being a Mexican American.
Yep.
Why? Because I know the story of my parents. I know the struggles they went through. I lived it with them for my parents. We weren't settled into an actual, our actual home until I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
So we struggled for 9 years. But then also obviously hearing the stories of how they got here, it makes me value it. It makes me appreciate it a lot more. And it makes me feel very proud of how far they've come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from us living in motels and
Oh yeah.
living, you know, in families little spare rooms, you know, and thank God for their spare rooms, honestly. I don't mean it that way, but what I'm saying is from going from hotels and spare rooms and in apartments to finally like an actual home,
Mm-hmm.
and then for them to actually get a nice big home, um, they never gave up, and so it just makes me feel very proud of how far they've come.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's, you know, my job or our job to now continue on and first of all, I'm not gonna let my culture die within my kids. Like my kids are gonna carry our culture. Like the culture needs to, it will not die down. It's gonna keep going. But because it's something that I need, I made a promise to my grandmother, mommy coming,
Mm-hmm.
that I was gonna teach them. We were gonna teach them like, do not let, you know, our culture die within the kids here.
Right.
So, and then obviously, um, let's see, what else can I say? I mean, I would say that that's really what it's the story behind how I was born here,
Yeah.
how I got here, or how my parents got here.
Yeah.
That pushes me. Mm-hmm.
That gives you that pride, that prideful part.
Right, and then also like growing up, I up until I was 19, at 19 it was my last year. But every year we would go to Mexico for a whole month. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Literally like a whole month, if not maybe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I would call. Your
Yeah.
cousins will make fun of me.
We'd be out there
it's a fun time.
every year for Las Fiestas, which is in December.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I feel like I was able to really grow up in the culture. You know, just really, really immerse in it.
Yeah. It was. I think. That's something that would love for the kids to experience for sure. I think I've always had my fear of taking our children out there to Mexico, especially at the young age. Because come on,
Well, right
our
now,
children are pretty, okay? Especially the girls.
what
They're,
does that have to do with anything?
you know what happens out there in Mexico, man. They, what I'm saying, with the girls and stuff. You gotta be very vigilant and careful and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Just as
It's
much
just
as it is
stories.
out
Come on,
here.
but
No, but
this safety
see, this is
measures.
how I get defensive
Yeah,
about Mexico.
exactly. You see,
No,
I know you're right, but I think it took a good experience to kind of see, is it truly like that? Because again, what we see in the news, what we see for people talking, is like these are the stories that come about and stuff. But it you don't know until you go and experience. And I didn't experience that, especially when I was 4 years old. When I went out there to Mexico and spent time with on my grandparents' farm and enjoying that with the family and stuff. And I don't know if it was because it was necessarily it was their farm, it was their area, so obviously is it well protected, or was it just because no one really wanted to mess with them type of deal? So, it was fine there. We didn't. I don't. That was never a concern, or even hearing that from. I don't remember hearing that from my parents, or at least from my dad and my aunts and my uncles and stuff like that. I didn't hear that stuff. And it didn't really start playing until we started watching movies. I think when we were dating and when we got married, and then all of a sudden, we go out there for a friend's birthday party, and we go visit. We go to Mexico for the weekend. I'm not gonna lie, that experience was awesome at that time. I had a great time. I was hungover most of the time, but I had a great time. I enjoyed myself a little bit. The air was fresh. The ocean was awesome. It was a great sea. The sunsets were great. The sunrises were awesome. The freaking rooster was annoying, but it was entertaining. Even then, when we got home, we were missing the rooster, and it's a different experience, and it's a different type of like I said, I guess vibe. It's a different vibe, and it's something that I for sure want to have the kids experience and notice and feel and get a chance to kind of see that and stuff like that. And that's I think that's always been I don't know if you really noticed with me and like with us being together, was even for myself knowing my culture, understanding it, Not to say obviously I can't have the capacity to know everything, but enough to just appreciate what we are and who we are, and not be ashamed in a sense. But also instilling that to the kids, even my siblings, especially with Ivory, Zach, Eddie. Because let's be honest, even though we're not full siblings and we're half siblings coming from our mother's Mexican, and it's like that type of experience they're not receiving, but they're gonna receive that from me. They're gonna receive that from you. They're gonna receive that from us.
All right.
Like this is your culture too. You are Mexican, not just Mexican, but understand that you guys are half African American. So understand your culture too, where your roots come from. Find out what that is, because it's cultures. I think really the roots of them are lost. Mm-hmm. And once you learn them, once you get into them, it becomes beautiful. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Just
it's different for me, I guess, because for you, it's like the culture was lost with you.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like you say culture, and so, but I'm like, I just feel like I just.
It's like I grew up with this. So I knew what it was.
Man. I grew up watching my family making tortillas by their raw in hand and
and I got half of that. I got bits and pieces. That's what I'm saying. Like I got bits and pieces of that.
We make tamales.
Yeah. Oh my god. See what I'm saying?
Like tias, everybody sitting together. Like I grew up with all that, but so I definitely I had that privilege, which I have that privilege. It's not like it's gone, like
right,
because I carry it. But definitely our kids. I want them to also have that.
Yeah.
To have that, and they are having it. They're having it.
I think the privilege. I think
they're
also
so proud to be Mexican Americans too.
The privilege I think for them is the fact that they have their mom. When she goes in there, starts cooking, the flavors that come out of it, man, oh man! Tell you guys right now, even Cloy knows. Like, if Grandma makes a plate of food, it's not the same as obviously the wife, the kid's mom. It's not the same. The flavors are not the same from when she makes a plate of food.
Yeah.
It ain't the same when I make a plate of food. We have our flavors. I can throw down, but I got my American roots.
You cook with Texan flavor.
But yeah, I can see that. So it's it gets a little pizzazz here and there. But when the wife makes a plate of food, when Cloy makes a plate of food, there ain't no leftovers. Let's just be honest. And I think with the kids, it's like they get to like try new things, and it's like, oh, we didn't have that before. It was good.
Right.
It comes out good. And I think what would be...
Well, I'm always making trying new recipes.
Exactly. What would be like, when they do like those quizzes on TikTok and they say, oh, what would you have, horchata or Jamaica? Those type of things. Like, what's your favorite combo, I guess you would say? What's your favorite Mexican dish, type of say? Let's get it something a little light here. Let's change a little bit here. What's your favorite dish per se when it comes to Mexican?
I don't know. I have a lot. I don't know. I'll just stick with my forever plate is mole. Because I would always ask my mom that one, God. Mole or cocktail de camarón. Them two were always my favorite.
I truly don't understand the mole. What the heck is? What's the attraction to mole?
Indigenous food, because it has like.
Would you say don't don't be dissing the mole.
Don't be disrespectful, because it's a very indigenous meal. Like because what it was, it's a poor folk meal, but it became very the symbol of Mexico, because it's very. It has like all kinds of seeds, it's very healthy. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of protein in it because it has all kinds of seeds. Oh. That's what you're tasting too. It's like almonds, but it's all toasted. You toast all the seeds. You toast all the chiles seco, like the dried chiles.
Okay.
And then you grind everything up, and that's how you make mole. Oh. And so it's like I mean, but look, every state makes it differently. My favorite is from my favorite. See, I get so happy because my favorite is they have red mole, green mole, dark brown. They have the regular brown. My favorite is the mole with chocolate.
Yeah.
You know the sweet mole?
Yeah.
That's my favorite. It's chocolate, that like Mexican chocolate, pues. So you put the Mexican chocolate in there.
Your mouth's getting watering. I could tell.
So mole with rice, Mexican rice, obviously, and then some chicken.
I'd be honest, guys. I may embarrass myself here, but I don't care. Okay, I don't understand mole. I don't get it. I'm not gonna eat it. I've tried. This is what I find hilarious. Okay, I'm not gonna be too mean here, babe. Okay, don't give me that Google eye now. But this is what I find hilarious a little bit here. That everyone says their mole tastes different than the other. So you mean to tell me there are a million types of recipes of a mole?
Each state. How many? I don't know how many. I don't know how many states are in Mexico, but each state makes it differently.
Even each person makes it differently.
No, that's just what they say. But
But
each state makes it different. So it depends on where the people are from. It's gonna taste different.
I can't get into it. I'm gonna be. It is what it is. I just can't. But yeah. that doesn't mean I don't like the other dishes. But I give you this. I do like mole. What else? Enchiladas. That goes with it.
Yeah, mole.
Well, they have the seasoned tortilla. Well, it's like with the green sauce, red sauce.
Por eso enchiladas.
Yeah,
but it's
mole sauce with that.
Mole. Oh my gosh, there's a name for them. But yeah, so it's enmoladas.
So that like, I can eat because your mom made that. She made that, and I was like, at first I was over there contemplating. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna eat this.
Which is crazy because it's literally the same thing as just putting mole in a tortilla with your chicken.
But I guess I would say it's like, okay, when you see a mole dish, it's like a glob of it, right? Why are you looking at me like you're about to murder me?
Say. It's the same thing as grabbing a tortilla, picking up a spoon with mole, and just brushing the mole and eating it with your chicken.
Well, I don't.
It's
like
difference?
tomato. Okay, I don't see it that way. I just, you dip it in there, you get a little flavor, a little pizzazz, and then bam, you give me an enchilada covered up with that, and then I can put some other hot sauce and some other ingredients and stuff on top of it. Goes down delish. Okay?
Okay, sir. We'll stick with that one.
We'll stick with that story? Okay, sounds good. All right. Now,
I cannot with you.
We'll move on to the lighter things. Let's light it up a little bit before we end the episode and stuff. Because we got a little nice, a little deep. But, I think your favorite things you like to do is where I find troublesome sometimes. But your enjoyment. I don't judge. I don't judge or nothing like that. But what is it with the crime stories, you guys? Now, tell me I'm not the only male or the only guy out there or other partner that has another partner that just loves to enjoy a crime story. And not just enjoy it while cleaning dishes, folding clothes, making the bed. Would feel okay to fall asleep to these crime stories. Now, let me know I'm not the only one. But Miss Cloy, please explain this process to me.
Sir, listen, Linda. I don't know. I don't know what it is. No, I don't know. I was reading that it could be, right?
Oh, you was reading about this.
No, it could be because of what happened when I was 4.
The trauma.
It was probably because of, and so it's something that's just within me that it's like, I don't know. It's like it makes me feel good when I watch a crime show that's resolved and they get justice. See. You notice how it's hard for me to watch crime shows where there's no justice. I don't feel at peace at the end. I just can't.
Those ones that end where the bad guy wins, you're like, oh, that's some bull.
Yeah, like I need justice, and so I just feel like it's not. All right, guys, I didn't read it. I take therapy. Everybody knows I do therapy. Why am I shy about it?
Right.
It's I should be very proud of it.
Charlamagne the God does that.
I take therapy.
Tom Segura does. Joe Rogan. Everyone does it.
Honestly, I recommend it, and I've recommended it to everybody I've come across. Yeah. No, I'm not. I was just kidding. No, I'm not shy. But So in therapy, it's my therapist actually brought it up that's where it's stemming from. Like,
Oh, the trauma.
it's the trauma, and it's the fact that we never got justice, and it's just the like that want and need of like I want justice. So like, let me watch something that you know. But yeah, so I just yeah, like that's what, because that was a big question for me. Why am I so obsessed with these crime shows, dude? Like I can't stop watching them. And
Yep.
and so I talked to my therapist, and that's what it was.
Like for me,
that's what the conclusion we came down to.
like for me would be is, I guess I think the difference between you and I is the fantasy world is more or less of like, getting into the mix of watching fantasy world stuff, superhero things, or whatever the case would be, right?
Okay.
What I think I'm gonna kind of use this component in here a little bit and kind of use this reference that therapist gave out to you is it just came to my head like why I like these superheroes and stuff like that. Maybe the reason why for my trauma of going through what I went through and always wishing that I had that one person to come and save me and get me out of the situation that I was in and stuff like that, and put me in a different situation that I didn't really want to be in and stuff, So I think that's what I guess you would say either attracts or it kind of gives a sense of,
but that's
enjoyment.
God,
You know
what I mean?
We'll see.
So I think.
Well, no, don't do that on my side now. You didn't do it over there. The crime stories over there a little bit.
No.
Good.
I'm not judging. No. I'm just saying like, that's different. Like, that's the trauma that I can't. You're looking for someone.
I was. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I'm kind of relevant why there was that attraction to that.
Yeah.
Why I fell into that a lot and stuff like that growing up, and it was, that's why I find it cool now. That's what I'm saying. I find it cool now, but prior to would be unless it would be in that manner of why I was so obsessed with that at that point and stuff like that. Now it's more or less of just, it's a variety of everything now. I enjoy the sense of entertainment when it comes to these stuff. I can sit here and tune into your crime stories for sure. And you're right. I like a good crime story. I'm not in that level you are, of course. Right. But I can dabble in there. You see me dabble in superhero stuff, gladiator stuff, freaking, freaking horror films at one point. We can dibble dabble and everything. And it's a good variety. It's good entertainment. But what makes a good crime story? I guess I would say, what makes a good, no,
I don't. I honestly.
Or what will
crime story?
What's your favorite to watch? You got
I just told you
between the streams and stuff. Let's be honest. Who makes good crime stories in your streams? You got Netflix. You got Hulu, HBO. What have you been keen to kind of tune in more of because they tell the story better?
Netflix.
No.
It sounds like Netflix. No, Netflix and YouTube.
And YouTube, who tuned in? Oh, that's right, that gentleman on YouTube.
Well, I've had several. You've seen several throughout the years. You don't remember?
No, I don't do. I've been seeing you watching this main guy.
Throughout the years, you haven't seen, like, remember, like, what I used to watch?
Oh, there was that one girl that was telling the story for a minute.
Oh, my God.
Look, there's a common person. There's been common of two people that I've heard the most out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been this one, female who was doing this show while she was doing her makeup and stuff like that. And then this gentleman that you tuned into is this guy. And then there's the lawyer guy. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, good. But they tell good stories.
Yeah.
No, not bad. Not bad. So don't be alarmed. Don't be afraid. You're not the only gentleman or other partner, of course, to have another partner love the heck out of these crime stories.
Right.
It is what it is. It's fun. I guess it's good for entertainment. Okay, just enjoy yourselves. Right. Don't be creeped out. Right.
Right. Exactly.
Even though
there's nothing behind that. There's no other reason.
Hey, she looked at me weird, guys. Just letting you know right now, I got a will. Okay, I got every setup. Never mind.
That's not funny, dude.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, he jokes about this a lot, and it's not funny at all.
It's okay. Funny to me.
I'm gonna bless myself and bless yourself. Come on now.
Yep. It's been good.
Funny like that.
Now, lastly, of course, we've been having a good show. Been doing a good job. We're an hour into it. It's nice. Love it. But the last thing is message to the family and people, of course. You know, I think a big key, of course, is I think a big factor in our life, and I think something that we've always we've talked about, dealt with ourselves, and understood that, you know, in the past, not a lot of people discuss this, but I think sometimes we want to shed light to it because it doesn't just affect on one spectrum of male or female, partner or the partner. It's everyone who kind of goes through this, but understanding what it is, and we find out it's anxiety. Everyone goes through. We always figure it out. We always wonder what's that itch and what's that nerve of, you know, us tapping our shoulder or, you know, tapping our feet, and, you know, from the classroom when we're trying to focus on what we're trying to listen to, when we're fidgeting with our pencils and stuff like that. Like, it's anxiety. You're going through anxiety. Like, I know that's something you go through. That's something I go through.
Yeah.
You know, what would be the key component of having to deal with that? Like, what helps you deal? And I think moving past that part.
Okay. Well, there's several things here. Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
God, therapy, and then what? How do I? Because it's so it's believe it's your faith in God. Pray for your faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever you learn from therapy, you apply it to your everyday to help you deal with all that anxiety, all that anxiousness you carry, There's different techniques that I use. Obviously I also pray. Like if I start feeling very, very anxious, like I do a little prayer that's helped.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. There's different things things within the church, prayer or just saying something to God or just saying God's name, literally Jesus, or taking something from therapy where it's like art therapy. I love art therapy, which, it's where you just do any type of art.
Yeah. Painting.
Free art, any kind of art. Or music therapy, or I like to do grounding therapy. What else? There's different techniques that you learn. And you just apply all that.
Apply what you can.
Apply what you can, because obviously there's times where, unfortunately, I've had like really bad panic attacks, and you've had to step in. That's where you need somebody. Find yourself somebody that is compassionate and really cares for you, because they're gonna be there for you on your hardest moments. I've had really bad panic attacks where I can't even function, and it's like not even something I say lightly, because that's, I don't talk about this often.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not like it's something that's happening every day. It's just, when it has happened, you step up and you do what you can. Like you brought me cold water with ice, or whatever it is. You put the cold air on for me to breathe. Like, drink some cold water, get some cold air in. Here, I'll step out, and you give me my space. And you're understanding about that. You don't take it personal. You literally just give me my space.
Agreed.
And that sometimes that's all you need. And so whatever it is, that's when you've stepped in and helped. So, but there's just so many ways, and that's not it. Like there's so many other ways that
either you can learn, try something new, do something different, whatever works. And I think a lot of times when you watch.
Oh, also.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna be honest. Well, also one of the main things is medical marijuana. I use my
Use your green card. Use medical marijuana.
Right.
Don't be shy from it. I mean, that's also something I think we also had to come across with of sharing or with our family members that you do have that.
I have to because
it's something you do.
Yeah.
I think we went through the stage of, where people were like so judgmental, like, oh, you do that? You do that? Look, we have that. Not necessarily I dabble into it and stuff like that. There's times where I may need it. I may need a little piece of a chocolate bar to relax myself, dabble in there, here and there. Never, it's not a key component of an everyday usage on my end. But if it gets to a certain level, it's legal now. If it gets to a certain level on my anxiety, I'm sorry. Yes, I had to for the moment. But I think everyone knows of me and knows that that's not me to be like, oh, he does that every day. He does that every minute. Or I've been the person to do so. No, not me. Same as you. Not who we are. But we found out that it's been an extra, tool to use to kind of just monetize and manage that type of situation that we get into. It's just the management part. It's the management part. Yeah. We're not using it for fun. We're not using it to let's joyride with the bull crap and stuff.
No, we don't monetize though.
No.
Monetize is to make money
you're
off
right.
of it.
Yeah, you're right. Monetize is that. I apologize.
Sorry, it's because I'm like
I'm illiterate.
We don't.
Right.
We don't monetize.
But I'm illiterate and I'm a little dyslexic with stuff like that. I'll be honest. So some of the verbiage and meanings of words may not come to the same as others. I was just coming from
literally. I just did the face.
But that's just me. I think I think people forget that I'm a dyslexic. I'm illiterate. That's something I had to deal with in school. But people are not normally used to hearing me say that because they don't see that in me. But it is. Yeah. So it's just
nothing bad. It's just like, okay, you just
my verbiage,
the wrong word. Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
It's no big deal.
Sometimes I add a word in a sentence I didn't mean to be there.
Yeah, but that's why for this one I'm like, hold on, let me for real say because people gonna think like, wait, hold on, so they making money off of that now?
Right. No.
No, we don't.
You're right. No, we're not out there like that slanging like New Jack City now. No, we don't do all that stuff. We're not Ice Cube now. Okay.
Now wait, don't be talking no Ice Cube like that now.
but it's like it's a management tool, and we had to kind of understand the levels, of course, of it and stuff like that, and the signs that come with it, right? And know when a good time and bad times, of course, because we're parents. Obviously, we got to make sure it's right time, right moment, and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think that's been a learning curve too with you. It's like what I want to touch key on what you mentioned a minute ago was. You're right, giving you your space, not taking it personal. That was also a learning curve on my end, dealing with the things that what were going on of that. Was, there were times where, I'll be honest, I took it personal. I did take it personal. I did turn it into an argument of you're attacking me, now I'm going to attack you back. But with that, it's understanding and finding what that was to be like, you're not saying it because it's me. You're saying it because it's coming out of you of what you're feeling. So it's not a personal thing. It's just, that's just what you're feeling at the moment. So there's no limit to what the verbiage is going to be like, right? Not saying that it's a good thing, not saying that it's the right thing to do, but that's just the truth of what occurs in the moment. It's just the truth. It happens. And I think what I had to learn was just turn the page. It's the next day, the next moment's going to be different. That's not what you really mean. That's not who you really are. That's not what really happens. Making it sound like
I say terrible things, but no, what I mean is just you understanding, like, that I just need my space, and like, you just give me my space.
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. You just let it be as it is, and then that way, you go on and just live your life, be good and stuff. So,
live your life, be good.
Live your life, be good. Yeah, go from there. All right, that's a good hour. I think we got a good hour in. We got to hit the timeout button or the call out button and stuff like that. We don't sit there and let you go last for too long and stuff. You know what I mean? But it was good. It was good having you, Miss Chloe.
Thank you.
Mi esposa. I appreciate very much for you, tuning in, being on board. Love to have you back, of course. It's going to be,
For sure.
we got future episodes coming on, man. It's going to be awesome. Oh, my God, yes. Going to be great. So, stay tuned, everybody. Here on Chop It Up with Tony. Going to have some good shows. Don't forget to go in Dynasty Barbershop if you guys need to get some haircuts, crew cuts, all that good stuff. Chime in on there on Booksy. Find out where Dynasty Barbershop it is in Antioch. Get your haircuts. Have a good time. It's a fun space. Those who have the little boys or kids and stuff like that want to take a little place for them to learn how to get a haircut. Maybe have that anxiety of dealing with haircuts, not too sure knowing how to handle that. Bring them in. They kind of, it's a fun little space. It's a good little welcoming area for those. So enjoy yourselves there, but also too just, enjoy yourselves out there, everybody. Remember, talk, communicate things. People, if you don't communicate, they don't know how to fix anything. So just take it from there. All right? Any last words, Miss Chloe?
Well, just, stay safe out there, everybody.
There you go.
Goodbye.
See you guys.